Hi everyone, welcome back to Active Mindfulness. And today I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the studies that suggest that mindfulness might be helpful for sports or people involved in sports. So today I particularly wanted to talk about self-compassion. So athletes are at a higher risk than the average person of developing negative self-talk and self-criticism, which in sport often leads to an inner negative focus. So being so focused on our performance in a kind of a negative way that actually we stop being present. And when we stop being present, we often make mistakes. So it can be a really negative thing for athletes. One of the things that mindfulness can be quite helpful for is starting to notice our minds drift into that negative place so that we can become aware of that's our experience right now, to put a kind of a pause on it and to respond to that negative experience in a skillful way, in a way that is going to help us. So quite often in sports, we've developed this kind of mindset that we need to be tough on ourselves, that we need to beat ourselves up if we don't get to where we want to get to, or we don't manage to train as much as we want to, or anything that we see as negative, we become our own kind of bullies. If you imagine the typical experience of being in the military, this idea that you can kind of break someone down in order to build them back up. And it does seem like you might be able to do that, and that performance-wise it might have a good effect. Unfortunately, it comes with a whole load of side effects of low self-esteem or performance anxiety, which are really hard to break out of. So a study by a researcher called Mauschwitz in 2013 actually suggests the opposite might be helpful. That if we can develop self-compassion, then actually we can have a reduction in our negative self-talk. That we can have a reduction in the amount that we ruminate on our mistakes, in the amount that we're not present while we're taking part in the sport because we're so focused on the negative. A more recent study in the Journal of Sport Behavior in 2020 looked at the effects of self-compassion and mindfulness in elite athletes who were tackling this kind of performance anxiety and stress and negative self-talk. What they found was that there was a negative correlation between mindfulness and performance anxiety. So the more mindful someone was, the less anxious they were about their performance, the less anxious they were about mistakes that they had made, the more they were able to move on from them. They also found that the higher the person scored in self-compassion, the more likely they were to move towards their goals, their sport-related goals, and the more positive they were in doing so. What was also great about this study is it also found a great correlation between ability to be mindful and self-compassionate, the two things together, in someone's ability to enter into flow, flow being this almost kind of mythical experience of being so engrossed in the activity that it feels almost effortless. So all of this together just suggests that there could be a really helpful role in us moving from a traditional self-critical, let's beat ourselves up model of performance to moving towards a more self-compassionate, mindful experience of performance. I hope you found that useful and interesting. There's lots of great studies and research being done out there, and this is really just an emerging field. So some of the research is just starting to take place.